This is XYFlyer. It was built to help students learn about equations and graphing. It does so using increasingly harder challenges that students can take on, even if they've never worked with equations or graphing before. Basically, you have this little person who's standing on a floating island with a remote-controlled airplane. And then using the equation fragments, you can construct an equation that will graph out automatically. The airplane will then follow the graph as you try to direct it through the hoops. It's very simple, but it allows for an enormous range of difficulty. We use a number of techniques, such as a limited option set, the equation fragments you see there, and tight feedback loops, the immediate graphing of the line, to make it possible for students to try and figure out how to solve each challenge with no prior knowledge. We've also made it possible for students to see how changes to an equation affect the graph. So in this example, the student can explore a range of possible values for A using the slider until they've solved the challenge. While we don't expect students to gain a perfect understanding of these relationships after solving just one challenge, we do believe that they'll begin to recognize the patterns and become more comfortable working with equations and graphing after solving many challenges. Most importantly, as they solve more and more challenges, they'll gain more and more confidence with their own ability to work with equations and graphing. An important goal of XYFlyer is to be able to present appropriate challenges to every student. This example shows a challenge with two equations, making the challenge much more difficult. In order to ensure that the student doesn't get stuck because they've hit a challenge that they're not quite ready for, we let the students click a button to get a part of the solution. We feel that as long as there are enough challenges for students to work with, then it's best to give students help when they need it. That way the learning process doesn't come to a grinding halt. Similarly, these hints can be turned off and a teacher could provide the necessary help. Either way, the student can get help if they're getting confused or frustrated, and then the teacher or system can tailor the next challenge so that it's more appropriate to the student's level of understanding. And the student is always facing challenges that stretch their knowledge just a little bit more. As far as curriculum is concerned, XYFlyer is a really good fit for the Common Core in 7th and 8th grade, as students explore linear equations. It's certainly not limited to just linear equations, though. It can effectively model all sorts of equations and the resulting graphs. It can be used to explore exponential or logarithmic curves, or, as in this example, how the sine wave can be manipulated. Really, any type of equation that a teacher wants to explore can be modeled effectively in XYFlyer. We've also built a level editor into XYFlyer that allows both teachers and students to create custom levels. So a teacher could create a level to help a student explore a specific concept, such as slope, or students can create challenging levels for their peers to try and solve. As students try to create challenging levels, they'll be given more control over the creative process and can actually learn more themselves through the protege effect. Here we can see a quick demonstration of just how easy it is to create a custom level. Just going through the process of creating a custom level can be a very interesting learning experience. So there are many ways in which XYFlyer can be used in the classroom. And while it's a great fit for middle school students under the Common Core, the simplicity of XYFlyer allows teachers to use it in many flexible ways and for students to learn through appropriate challenges that are neither too easy and boring or too difficult and frustrating. So that's XYFlyer. Hope you enjoy the demo.